Welcome, please everybody, welcome to the NDSU team.
Win.
Here we are. I'm going to keep it on director mode for most of the time here.
We are hoping for the humans to win, but it would definitely be cool if Nexto did. We see already Nexto is very aggressive. It's something we've seen a lot of Nexto, but it doesn't seem to know how to play threes properly, having pushed all three up. It's yeah, that wasn't a very smart move from the Nexto. They all just kind of pushed in.
Give me a sec, Mal, if you want to take over for a minute. I'm just changing the overlay.
Yep, off this kickoff, we do have the humans winning. Let's hope this is a much closer game than it already looks to be. But Nexto does know how to aerial now. Does seem like the newer version of Nexto definitely has got a good bit better. And a tee-up shot from one onto the other. Nexto out here playing golf. He had two people in defense there, but just the golf play. Holding it on top of his car, slams it straight in. Beautiful shot. We head now into the third kickoff of the game. Both kickoffs so far seemingly very human, like, just went in the human's way. But we do have Nexto now, very fast offense. The blue team does try and clear it out, and there will be a follow-up shot. Sadly can't get the double touch. Now Simi takes a shot and there's no Nexto in defense. And that's just an open net goal.
Starting off strong for the humans here. 4 minutes in, it's already up 1 in favor of the humans. Best of 3 or best of 5? We're looking for best of 5, I think was the plan.
Does this kickoff now heavily in favor of the Nextos. They get it to the corner, but that's just going to give possession to the humans. There's one Nexto tries to read but can't. The other one manages to take a shot, but there's a save in defense there from Simi. There's one Nexto aerialing up.
Nexto challenging in the air, gets a nice clear downfield. K-Tool, sorry, up for that, manages to get it clear. Nexto bounces it off the wall straight into the arms of Nexto 0, awaiting for the aerial shot to tie up the game.
What you will see coming out from Nexto in comparison to the human players, because don't get me wrong, the human players are going to be fast, but having spent what must have been, after the Nexto got released to the public, what must have been 30 matches with random people on my friends list just playing against them, Nexto is always faster. Unless you're pre-jumping 3 days in advance, Nexto will almost certainly be able to get there.
Yeah, there's one thing I've learned from playing against Nexto is that it is astonishingly quick. It just seems to get to the ball in an almost impossibly fast way. I feel like every time I'm so certain I'm gonna beat it to the ball, it's just always ahead of me.
Yeah, and even when it's slow to take off, it's still somehow fast to get to the ball. It's just mastered the art of the speed aerial.
Yeah, now the 3v3 matchup is pretty interesting because we, like I said earlier, we've never seen Nexto in a 3v3 situation against a real, practiced team of players. And one thing that I'm noticing already is that the game is very aerial centered, right? The humans are always up in the air, flying around, booming the ball, and Nexto really doesn't do that too much.
But we have been seeing, I don't know whether this is just a new thing or because of the fact that it's 3v3, Nexto can go for it more, but there definitely has been some good aerials coming out from Nexto.
Yeah, absolutely.
See there, just a nice read from Nexto, but the demo has opened up the backfield. Sadly, that shot not on target for the blue team. They are trying to keep the pressure on.
Centers the ball, Nexto has the clear.
It's the problem with Nexto. You think you've got a great shot, and then Nexto manages to save it, and then Nexto just has complete control down the field.
Yeah,
so an almost incredible shot there. As K-Tool tried to sneak it through, but just couldn't manage it.
Here's the patented Nexto flick, gets it by 1, but Simi's ready for the defense.
One thing that that threes has over 2s and 1s is that you can commit in 2 people and still have that safe defender for the Nexto flicks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big advantage. Almost gets the double tap. K-Tool with a good shot, but doesn't quite make it. Now Nexto's with possession. Nexto gets it by Simi. Up on the wall now, probably just going to bring this down. We don't usually see Nexto going for aerial plays. And K-Tool gets a clear.
I've seen Nexto off the wall. It is a pretty dangerous shooter. I don't know whether it's just because I'm bad at the game, but A lot of the times when Nexto gets the ball on the wall, it might not be instantly threatening, but it's definitely aggressively dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, Nexto is always threatening. That's the real scary thing about this bot. There's always something that it's gonna do that seems to be either really hard or, you know, at least it's very unexpected.
It seems like at least the double and triple committing has, as I said, like
Yeah.
they double commit back in defense, but the double and triple committing in this seems to have toned down a bit since I've last seen them play. And their rotations holding strong as always. And we can see that the human players are all about GC2, right?
Yeah, so they're all between GC1 and GC2, and a very nice passing play comes in to secure the third goal for the humans. 1 minute to go, and they're up by 1.
Yes, we can see the GC2-ish team only just ahead of Nexto in this match.
And of course, keep in mind, these are all talented players who actually practice together, and I feel like that's something not to be understated, is a team that practices together is able to do these passing plays and, you know, team-based mechanics that, you know, Nexto probably never saw at all in its training, and really hasn't been seen anytime we've tried to play Nexto 3v3 against just sort of random groups of people. But with a clear shot down the field, we now have a tie game.
And another thing to note is that the blue team are probably all in a voice chat together. I'd be surprised if they weren't.
Yeah, they're certainly coordinating.
So they have that extra communication as well that Nexto
Yeah.
won't have.
30 seconds to go. The score is 3-all. Kickoff's going in favor of blue. Simi's up for the quick shot. Nexto on the goal line. That's an easy clear. K-Tool takes it up the wall, off the ceiling, but he doesn't get the best touch. So Heat Assassin coming in, just trying to maintain control, really. Brings it down to the middle, but Nexto with a pop, and immediately followed up by a quick clear into a downfield shot. Simi ready, but Nexto gets it under him and right past Heat Assassin. These are the kinds of incredible touches that Nexto is known for. It just constantly surprises you. Look at that quick little touch underneath the first one and just barely out of range of the second defender to bring Nexto up by 1 with 10 seconds left.
I was about to say, you see Nexto going for the flicksy, you think you've got to jump it, but then Nexto completely switches up the entire play by then instead going underneath, which
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
seems to catch people off guard, because you think Nexto flick, 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 and then suddenly it's just a dropped ball, and it gets you every time. Luckily, they scored
Fortunately, the
again.
blue team manages to tie it up with a quick aerial play. We've got 6 seconds left. Kickoff goes in favor of the humans, and we get a quick kickoff goal to secure game 1 almost certainly for the humans.
This is what we want to be seeing from NDSU, right?
That's right.
So NDSU with a very, very nice way to potentially end the game. Although it could still go horribly off this kickoff with a goal for Nexto. But looking at that, I don't think it will. Although Nexto did have possession but couldn't maintain control.
It was a very close game. A good first game. I think one thing that's interesting to think about is whether they'll be able to abuse the kickoffs. So the kickoffs for Nexto are hard-coded, of course, and so I think we may see the humans taking advantage of that fact.
Yeah, you've got the roll kickoffs. Just once you get used to the roll kickoffs, the kickoffs just kind of. We need more kickoffs and rolls. That's what we need. Better kickoffs,
Yeah.
more kickoffs. Left goes kind of things. But heading into game number 2, another kickoff win for the blue team. Nexto throws it up high, so the humans, as we've said, will probably fare slightly better in the aerial region. Purely because, obviously, Nexto hasn't fully learned a lot of aerial play yet, it would seem.
Yeah, we're hopeful for the next version that that'll get better, but here we are, game number 2, so human team up by 1. We get a nice aerial shot into a redirect attempt by Heat Assassin, but doesn't quite make it. Now Nexto in control, sends it down the field. Heat Assassin is going to bring that one down to the corner. Quick challenge in the corner. We have a clear downfield right into the waiting arms of Nexto, who sends it high. K-Tool is going to clear that one again to the corner.
There. The blue
It's a
players trying to go with the Nexto move of double committing in. Luckily for the Nexto team, that shot though off the crossbar and out.
Nexto with the rare clear off the wall, but sends it right into the waiting hands of the blue team, who, with a quick passing play down to the midfield, bring the humans up by 1 in game 2.
Yeah, like you were saying, Nexto hasn't seen passing plays really, because it doesn't entirely pass to itself, which I think when you're in a 3v3 is exactly how you got to catch Nexto off, because you'll see them not double commit, but they commit in a similar way, all at the same time.
Yeah,
but a lovely shot there.
That Nexto hasn't seen too often. That kind of close double tap right there. We get the one touch to pump it in the air, a touch to bring it off the wall, and then he gets the perfect redirect straight down. Heat Assassin with a beautiful goal to bring the humans up by 2.
Yeah, we're just hoping for at least a close match again this time. And I mean, to be fair, as much as the human players are up by 2 goals already, it hasn't exactly been completely the human team dominating. There has been a few opportunities where Nexto has had, just like now, a strong offense with an open net. Luckily, Heat Assassin though snuck through, managing to clear the ball to the corner, and even managing to read the Nexto aerial.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is in the situations where one of Nexto's weaknesses isn't exposed, like this one right here, we're finding these two teams look pretty closely matched to me. But Nexto does have some plain weaknesses, and in particular, I think the passing plays are really starting to throw it up. So it's, you know, I think in terms of raw sort of blind skill, the teams are pretty well matched up, but the humans so far have done a pretty good job at identifying Nexto's weaknesses and are already starting to exploit them.
Although we see Nexto trying to sneak in one of its flicks, but definitely hasn't been finding its mark on any of its shots this game.
One thing that I'm noticing a lot of is that the human team is going for a lot of bump plays. We've seen Nexto demoed several times, bumped out of position, which is very interesting. I think that that's been one of the most effective things we've seen in our previous matches, and so I wonder if the human players have actually done any kind of studying of those VODs and or practice against the bot pack version to find those kinds of strategies to exploit.
You never know, maybe we just have a team that knows how to play the game correctly, and they just know that demoing is the correct thing to do in Rocket League. Although Nexto showing us a real demo play as he clears out the backfield for the open net shot to follow up.
The flick to set it up, and then a quick follow-up by Nexto 3. That's a team play by Nexto to secure a goal. 2 minutes in, 2 minutes to go, and humans now only up by 1 here in game 2.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see, even if this is a complete sweep for the human team, I think it's going to be a close match. And that shot there off the crossbar and out, and a bump there leaves the net open. Once again, we see the passing just coming in, allowing for some, I wouldn't say great or horrible shots, but just weak touches leading to perfect passes between them. Whether or not it's intentional, up for debate, but looks intentional enough for it to be a passing play.
Yeah, and Nexto definitely pretty out of position there. I didn't see the other 2 Nextos. I think one was going for boost, and there was only 1 in the net. So the humans definitely taking advantage of Nexto not being in proper position.
We do see another fast shot coming off from the human players. We can see the jump up from K-Tool very early on there. Just nails the shot before Nexto's even ready to save it.
Yeah, and these really fast aerial plays, again, definitely not Nexto's strong suits. This is looking like a very strong game 2 for the humans. Up by 3, Heat Assassin in the air, going for another double touch, almost gets it, but Nexto in for the clear.
Assassin just kind of died down for a couple of seconds, just gave up after not managing to score, it seemed. But Nexto shoots it high. This could be a shot opportunity, but no one's up from the Nexto team.
Heat Assassin brings it downfield, but Nexto with a pinch into Simi. Simi trying to center it for K-Tool, who's up, but the double aerial commit by 2 Nextos brings the ball away. Bump attempt by K-Tool doesn't quite land. Nexto hits the ball away into the corner, into another Nexto who pops it high. Simi up for the intercept. sending it back into the orange half. Now, 2 Nextos, 1 up, has an opportunity to hit the ball. Not the best recovery, but Nexto 3 ready to bring it towards the blue net.
You can see the Nextos just struggling to hold them on defense, because the thing about the like 2v1s that we've seen against the pros is that they have the number advantage, allowing them to easily hold pressure on. But in a just solid, equal, fair 3v3 match, we can see that Nexto does seem to struggle a bit more about holding that pressure. But a nice Nexto flick there, just getting it straight over the top of the goalie.
Fair or unfair matchups, Nexto is always going to land those incredible flicks. Look at that. Basically, no boost, almost from a standstill, and still sends the top shot home. 4-2 now in favor of the humans. This game is looking pretty secured, but kickoff does go in favor of Nexto. Heat Assassin with a bad touch. Nexto sending it towards the blue goal, but Simi has this one up the wall. It looks pretty unlikely the bots are going to get 2 goals in the next 2 seconds. And that's going to be it. The ball hits the ground, and that'll be it for game 2.
Never know though, Nexto may have just won that just by cheating. We don't know what Rolf has put in Nexto.
True. Okay, let me see this. Alright.
But we can definitely see that both teams are shooting a lot. It's just Nexto seems to be not managing to get its shots on target fully. Getting credited the shots, but it's just not slamming them fully in.
2-0 in favor of the humans, and I think we're really seeing some of Nexto's weaknesses in the air starting to come out. Again, you know, these teams, these teammates have practiced together a lot. Of course, they're, you know, in comms calling strats with each other right now, I'm sure. And their play seems to be very fast, very coordinated, and pretty aerial based, which are really all things that Nexto is not used to. The places that we've seen Nexto be the strongest so far have mostly been in these sort of slow, controlled plays where Nexto gets to set up a flick or to, you know, make an awkward touch to get it around players. And those movements and mechanics have still been successful for Nexto sometimes in some of these matches, as we've seen, but I think they're far less potent in this 3v3 setting.
Oh, but an own goal there.
Coming in with an own goal. Oh, no. Heading up 1-0 in favor of the humans. 30 seconds in.
So am I right? You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but am I right in saying that Nexto is probably worst in 3v3 as a mode?
You know, I don't feel like I'm the right qualified to say. I feel like I think that's probably right. I think our current guess is that it's best in 2s, and then it's pretty good at 1s and worst at 3s, but I might be wrong about that.
Sure, someone in chat will probably correct me who knows what's going on. But a nice flick there, good save on the line. It was definitely dangerous enough, as even with the touch it was crossing the line. But we can see Nexto just trying to hold the attack on. Just 50 after 50, but the human player's able to constantly rotate around. But we do see Nexto flicking it high. You have one on the backboard to clear it to the corner. And I think this is why 3s is so much easier against Nexto. Because if the Nexto flick goes high, you tend to have the third man, or at least one of your 3 players, up on the backboard. But there is an open net left there. So Nexto can sneak one through.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And, you know, this is really interesting to see. It's good to show these kinds of interesting little weaknesses in the way that Nexto plays. I think it's definitely worth mentioning that even though Nexto is definitely obviously not that great in the air, and it's certainly never seen these kinds of passing plays that we're seeing out of the blue team, Nexto is still, you know, it's keeping up, right? That's it's very interesting to see this kind of really grounded playstyle that Nexto has doing as well as it is in 3s.
Yeah, it's just like, it's obviously when you're playing, you can already see, as you've said, Nexto not the strongest aerial player, but if you're solid at half of the gameplay, most of the time you're in a position where you can use some of the skills you have. So it's not about fully like Nexto only being able to flick. It's just ground play as a whole, because as much as there's aerial play going on, there are a lot of times the ball will end up rolling or just close to the ground, which is exactly where Nexto starts gaining little bits of momentum in its favor, and those slowly add up over time. to allow it to just push down the field and get into more aggressive positions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's completely right. We also see moments like that, Nexto just outspeeding the humans. This is, again, something that we see all the time. One of the most common experiences of the Nexto is just able to get to the ball faster than it feels like it should be able to. And it gets a nice flick over top of one and flicks the ball top shelf to send it home. Nexto now up by 1 with 2 minutes to go. Now, this is not a position you want to see yourself in as a human. We see the flick over 1. Nexto immediately catches after the first flick, and it's a 1v1 with Nexto on into the blue net. And I mean, who can defend Nexto's flicks? We've seen it time and time again. Anytime Nexto sets up a flick and he's on your goal line, that ball is going home.
I'd say it's just the age-old Nexto control that we've seen, where it seems to be able to take control of the ball in a majority of situations, and then just from there, absolutely destroy any player in its path.
Yeah, absolutely. Now
Seeing
here, blue
Nexto
team.
does look like it's trying to pass, but the problem is you can pass, but if there's no one there to receive the pass, then it's just giving it
Right.
away to the opponents.
Yeah, it's like my ranked games. Yep. So the blue team now in possession. Simi brings the ball around to the center of the field, but Nexto with the catch. Simi coming in for a challenge. We have a rare 4-person commit on the ball and the midfield boost there. Nexto now pumping it down the field. Goes for another pump over top of Heat Assassin, sends the ball high. K-Tool up to intercept. Nexto will catch that and try to turn it around. K-Tool gets the demo on one.
Demo
Nexto up
there.
the wall. Simi pops it towards the corner. Nexto catching it on the goal line, and the flick over Heat Assassin. He will get a touch though. K-Tool not able to make much use of that. Simi bringing the ball into the corner, gets a demo on one of the Nextos. This is another one of those situations where we're seeing the players demo the bots a lot. Nexto now.
The thing you've got to watch out for with demos though, and you'll definitely see it with some of these demos that have been happening, the demos work to get short-term pressure, but the moment a player respawns, they come back with a pretty strong defensive position if you haven't got a shot on net.
my, wow. And Nexto, just this is what we've been saying. Nexto is sometimes just so fast to get these shots on net. Look at this, the ball hanging in the air. By all accounts, Heat Assassin should have gotten there first, but Nexto out of nowhere manages to get the quick shot right into the bar down and in. Now Nexto up by 2 with 33 seconds to go.
Yeah, as I was saying with the demos, you can see it coming in because they'll get demoed and it will give the human players pressure, but a nice follow-up there. But the problem is, if Nexto respawns after the demo, it has boost and it has a position, because a lot of the time you see Nexto pushing the ball towards the corner when it's aerialing for a lot of these balls. So it will respawn in a corner, and it's 9 times out of 10, it will be either in a position to defend a follow-up shot or in a position to catch the ball, which neither of them are things you want with Nexto.
Right, exactly. Yeah, demos and really aggressive fast plays can pay off, but they are obviously risky. You know, humans aren't perfect, we can mess up. And okay, a quick, oh no, and a demo attempt for the aggressive play will lead to Nexto catching the ball, sending it downfield, and it is now 1-2 in favor of the humans. GG.
What we love to see, Nexto showing that it is possible to win at least a single match so far against a team of 3 very, very skilled players. We definitely saw that time Nexto playing much more aggressive with 6 combined shots compared to 2 from the human players. So if they can manage to keep that up, it's definitely looking good heading into the 4th match of the series.
Alright. Getting set up here for game number 4. The score is currently 2-1 in favor of the humans. Just waiting for everybody to get on a team. Here we go. I feel like these kickoffs are really going to be the major deciding factors a lot of the time. The Nexto's kickoffs are one of its weaker elements, so it's interesting to see how the humans are learning to adapt to the playstyle of Nexto and its kickoffs.
I'd say so long as Nexto keeps that last guy back in defense on the kickoffs, it should be relatively okay. So long as the humans don't win just a complete blowout kickoff in a position where they can get powerful touch and an easy clear
Right.
straight into the net. It should be somewhat salvageable. But we have seen the humans off to an early aggression. Nexto trying to return the favor back downfield. And they are going to almost get away with it, but they can't manage to convert the shot into a goal.
Just off the post now. Nexto trying to keep the ball in the corner, but it won't work. Heat Assassin sending the ball downfield. Nexto there for the clear. Simi brings the ball once again around the corner, trying to get it into Nexto's half, and it does work. Blue team hoping to set up some kind of a passing play here, it looks like, but Nexto clears the ball downfield into Heat Assassin's waiting arms. Now over to Simi. Up the wall, doesn't get a great bounce. Nexto, however, off the wall, gets a good read. Heat Assassin for the counter. K-Tool now gets demoed by Nexto, barely beating it to the ball. Nexto sends a shot just to the side. Simi bringing it downfield again. And the humans have control. Nexto with a clear. K-Tool, however,
We are
is waiting.
seeing a lot of this match. I feel like we're seeing a return from Nexto to a lot of post and crossbar shots.
Yeah, that seems to be the case when Nexto isn't quite sure almost if it can get the shot quite past the defender. It still seems to go for a lot of these shots towards the post, even though they may not go in. They're still really aggressive plays, and I think they work out in favor of Nexto, just going for those more aggressive shots anyway.
I'd say yeah, because in terms of shooting, generally in Rocket League, you don't want to be scoring or hitting the post when you can take a shot.
Right.
But a lot of these times it seemed like not fully a passing play, but it gets to the point where Nexto's shooting wide and there is a Nexto in a position to follow up straight away. So it's kind of like a pseudo passing play happening, as it puts on so much more pressure than just Nexto flicking it straight into the arms of a goalie. So
Yeah, exactly.
potentially we might see the start of some crude threes passing plays between them, as we can see there.
Hopefully.
A Nexto flicking it onto the wall to another Nexto. The problem is with these bots, we can't tell whether it's entirely intentional, but it definitely is looking pretty good in terms of accidental or purposeful passing plays.
This game, 2 minutes left, 0-all, much closer than the other games have been looking. Not sure if the humans maybe just had a few interesting reads early on, but now perhaps settling into a playstyle that's a little less favorable. Nexto gets a good clear, and these kinds of shots, like the one Nexto just tried to send home, saved by Simi, are just so dangerous from the midfield. Now Nexto bumping its own teammate out of the way to maintain control. Going for the aggressive play.
I feel like we say this every time, but obviously the humans, unless they are incredibly better than the Nextos, they're going to be more inconsistent, because obviously Nexto's a machine.
Right,
So
of course.
it will generally hold to similar playstyles, whereas the humans, you can definitely see it there. They've gone from they haven't got worse, but their aggression's definitely changed between the last couple matches, and that's where Nexto seems to just get into its groove, when the aggression isn't fully there from the opposing team, and it can do stuff like what we've just seen, where it's kind of just bumping and double committing on plays, because they can just sneak it by one player at a time and slowly work their way downfield.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, of course, Nexto is not currently learning anything from this match, so this is one static thing that will always play the same way. So it's really interesting to see how humans kind of change over time, and how that affects the game, because surprisingly, a lot of the time, Nexto actually seems to get better relative to its opponents as its opponents try to adapt to it, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and it comes back to either just the idea of human fatigue being a
Right,
major
exactly.
part in a lot of these games, or just the fact that obviously we've seen Nexto, very ground-based player, but put in certain different situations, anything could change in its play style, and none of us know what that change could be. And even the slightest change in Rocket League can just snowball further and further into the match as you go along. So a single 50-50 win could, down the line, lead to you being in the perfect aggressive spot to take a shot.
Here we are in game 4. No goals have been scored yet, and we're in overtime. An incredibly close game, down to the wire. We'll see who wins. Now, blue team K-Tool goes for 2 demos, but that does leave him out of position. Nexto gets the flick over 1. Simi with the ball now, getting chased by Nexto, and in fact demoed in midair. Another Nexto for a follow-up shot. It is wide. K-Tool will get the clear. Nexto up, trying to get a touchdown, but doesn't quite make it. K-Tool sending the ball to the middle. Nexto demos K-Tool out of the air.
Going for revenge there. Got demoed twice, returns the favor pretty soon after. But I feel like we're seeing a lot of the passing plays that we were saying were working early on. They haven't seemed to be there from the humans in this game.
Yeah, and I think that definitely goes right back to what you were saying with the potential fatigue, or I wonder even just the first couple match jitters, getting that out once you get into the groove. You know, play styles can change, so it's I wonder how much that has to do with it. Still, anyone's game here. Of course, the humans have been winning so far, so really intense game. Already a minute into overtime, no goals scored. K-Tool with an opportunity, pops the ball high, but Nexto intercepts it out of the air. Simi for a quick follow-up shot. Nexto will clear it though. Heat Assassin now, sending it back into the middle. Nexto with another clear. K-Tool gets 1 demo and a bump. Simi sending the ball back into Nexto's corner, but Nexto will catch it, bring it around, flick over K-Tool. Heat Assassin now, popping the ball towards the middle. K-Tool tries to get the follow-up, and it's good. Humans bring it home, 3-1 in the best of 5. Wow, what a nail-biter.
We saw the double commit from Nexto coming in on defense there. As we see 2 Nextos pushing up at the same time, you'd really want to hold one back as one pushes up. And if they had have probably done that, they would have potentially won the game. But obviously, a very close match there with both teams taking a lot of shots and both like nailing the defense, it seemed, for the entirety of that match.